strict with. The date. What is the date? And the name of the person you're talking to, their title, whether they're marketing manager or HR, human resources manager, or a professor. The organization, like Samsung Electronics or National Basketball Association. Their street address, their city, state, and zip code. And then dear Miss, Mr., Doctor, Professor, and so on. So all the stuff goes at the top. For your assignment, you can make it up. I'm not going to give you guys any specific information. You can just make it up, okay? It's not that important to me. I want to see that you can follow this format, okay? You can follow this format and you can find the information and you know what it is, okay? And that you know exactly what it is. Okay, so some more examples here, of course. Nothing very out of the ordinary here. So you can see the date, of course, October 4th, 2020. The name of the person is Stacy Lowe. She's the CEO of the organization Lowe Labs, Lowe Laboratory. Her street address, her JUSO is 300 State Street, Chicago, and that IL is the abbreviation in America for Illinois. If you're interested about applying for the sports jobs in United States, you may want to get familiar with the abbreviations for the states and the zip code, right? And nowadays, Korean zip code matches United States zip code form very similar. And then, of course, your introduction there, dear Miss Lowe, dear Miss Lowe, or dear Dr. Lowe. Okay, just to give you a little example of exactly how you make these things work in an actual cover letter. Okay, the first paragraph, the purpose is to get the reader's attention. In this way, it's very, very similar to the resume, right? You want to grab their attention, make them remember. Make them remember. Okay, introduce yourself and explain the purpose of the letter. Why are you writing this? Why are you writing this letter? What position are you interested in? And why are you interested in this particular? Why are you interested in this position or this company? Why are you interested in the culture of this company? Well, I'm interested in applying to Samsung Electronics because I'm interested in the work culture of Korea. Why are you interested in their approach? I really like Nike's approach to marketing. It's all about individualism, and I really respect that. So this is why I'm interested in this position in this company. Think about this. Now, this is your personal thing, and if you can make them notice that you care about them as a company specifically, then I think you have a really good chance of getting the job. Okay. Explain how you will help the organization. Explain about your skills just a little bit and preview the rest of the letter. So in the rest of the letter, you're going to talk about your old job at Loteria, and it's going to preview the rest of the letter, how you what you're going to talk about for the rest of this letter. Okay, so here we have some a first paragraph. After speaking with Emily Richards about her past summer in the internship program, I'm interested in your human resources summer internship position. I worked with employee benefits this summer and became interested in the human resources aspect of the position. In addition to the leadership opportunities I obtained while working here, blah, 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 I have also developed my communication skills. I believe my skills will help your human resources department. Do you remember we spoke about human resources before? What is human resources? Do you remember? Right, human resources people are usually involved in hiring new people, right? Or dealing with people at the job, right? So human resources in Korean, I think is 인사부, right? 인사부. So human resources is the center who deals with this. So she's saying, in my old job, I was the leader at the writing center in my university. So I think this is a good job for people who are interested in human resources because I learned how to deal with people and I learned how to communicate with people. So highlight your skills. Means show off your skills, show them your skills, talk about your skills a lot and your benefits to the company. This is all in the middle. Emphasize your interest in the company. Talk about, I've been into sports so long, and Reebok was always the best shoe for me. Emphasize that you're interested in them. So remember, emphasize in Korean, 강조하다. 강조하다. So show, put a special focus on your interest in this company. Provide concrete evidence. Do you know what I mean by what's concrete? Concrete. Concrete is like a real thing. I guess in Korean that is something maybe a little bit hard to express in Korean. 구체적인 증거. 구체적인 증거, right? So this is like a real evidence, something that's actually you can focus on that you really did. Show evidence, don't tell. Use the information from your resume. Include real, credible examples. So if you were a manager at Lotteria, tell them you were. If you won an award at your university for English contest, tell them, show them, don't just blah, blah, blah them. They see many resumes, they know what is blah, 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 right? Show them credible evidence, real evidence. And begin paragraphs with a topic sentence. What is topic sentence? Do you remember? From your basic English class, you probably learned about topic sentences. 주제문, right? The most important sentence, or 요지 설명문. The important sentences go to the top. Begin with them. Okay, so your middle paragraph. As a banking representative at Shinhan Bank, I provided quality customer service while promoting the sale of products to customers. So I worked at Shinhan and I gave customer service and I sold things. I also handled close to $20,000 each day and was responsible for balancing the bank's ATM machine. My experience with customer relations and money management can help your accounting firm expand its Vietnam division located in Da Nang. So I want to work at Shinhan Bank. I'm sorry, I was at Shinhan Bank. In your accounting division, I can help them expand because I have good experience. I worked with the ATM machine. I counted money. I sold the products, and I always dealt with customer service. So I'm a really good person for this job. I'm the perfect person for this job. Okay? So this is what I mean by concrete evidence. What you really did is I worked at Shinhan Bank and I have examples of customer service, blah, 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 blah. Okay, they're going to be bored and they're going to throw the resume, they're going to throw the cover letter right to Saregitong, right? Show them what you did. To me, it sounds like $20,000 a day. You counted it and you're an honest person. You didn't steal. You did the job. You know how to do it. That makes me want to choose you. Tell them. Tell them. Okay, conclusion. Conclude with the next step and provide your contact information. I would like to discuss these and other qualifications with you in an interview to further explain how I can contribute to your East Asia, made a mistake there, to your East Asia operations. I look forward to meeting you soon. I look forward to meeting you soon. If you have any questions, please call me, give your contact information, your phone number, and your email. I know some people don't want to give them out these days, but I think at least if you're working with the American company, it's very important you give both. You give both. Maybe in Korea, like they like to give a Kakao Talk. Social media in American company is still not like, people don't want to share their social media, even if it's just a Kakao Talk. I know some jobs in Korea, they will send a message through Kakao Talk, but that's not considered like professional in United States and Canada. So I would avoid this, but maybe some startup companies might be okay with this. But generally, from what I know, social media, Kakao Talk, instant message, not a good way to contact. WeChat, etc., and so on in China, not something you want to do, okay? But your email and your phone number, yes, that is something that you want to include a lot of. So this is how you end your cover letter. Okay. In your closing format, sincerely, Mark Kim. Enclosure, remember what you included, your resume or your references. Sincerely, Simon Smith, and list his address and his email and what he enclosed. Both of these formats can be okay. Both of these formats can be okay. Okay, so what do we want you to look for? Don't use weak language. Don't use weak language. What's weak? Well, a weak athlete, right? He can't compete. Weak language can't compete with strong language. So weak language. I worked as a ramp agent at Asiana Airlines. Okay, so a ramp agent, right? There's somebody who like loads things and so on in the airport. Strong language. As a ramp agent, I assisted. You have that 동사 there. Assisted in loading 동사 baggage. Oversaw 동사 fueling 동사 the aircraft and stocked 동사 commissary items on the aircraft like the food items and so on. Okay, so look at all those verbs, right? They use many big verbs. These verbs can describe what are your skills, right? These describe what are your skills. So you want to emphasize and sell your skills. I worked as a ramp agent in Asiana Airlines. Well, worked is a weak verb, right? Obviously you worked. That's evident. We know that you worked before, but how did you work? What did you do? Right? What did you do? So think about this before you hand in your resume, before you hand in your cover letter. Make sure that you're not giving weak language. Now, you don't all know English, of course, I understand, but we have awesome tools online, dictionary.com, Papago, Google Translate. You guys have so many resources with the internet. You can always find a different word. It's not hard to find a different word. And we talked about that before with thesauruses and so on. Okay. Okay, don't use unprofessional language. We talked about that before. It was on your quiz and your midterm. The difference between formal language and informal language. So remember, give me an email versus I would appreciate your response as soon as possible. They're different, professional versus unprofessional. The length. Students always ask me, the most famous question I get from students if I give them an assignment is, Professor, how long should it be? And usually I say, it should be as long as you need it to be. However, when it comes to resume and cover letter, usually it should be only 1 page. Your strongest and most relevant or most important qualifications should be highlighted, and they should be first. And now you may have had many different jobs. Maybe you had 10 jobs in your life, 10 part-time jobs, but you don't want to include them all. Only include a few. Only include the most important, the most relevant, and the strongest for this job. And again, you're going to put the most important at the top and the least important at the bottom. And of course, it should be easy to read. Begin again with topic sentences and use the active voice rather than the passive voice. So remember, active voice. I worked on machines at my old job. Active. Passive. Machines were worked on by me. Passive. You want to be active and emphasize your role and your skills and your ability in this job. And these are your extra tips to help you. Remember, unprofessional is formal versus informal. Extra tips, appeal to the company values. What's a company values? What are values? Okay, so I think if we talk about a company like, let's say, well, I'm familiar with Apple, right? And you know, I'm not a crazy Apple otaku, but I can understand how they sell things. They appeal to certain values of Americans. Americans value creativity, unique style. This is the company's values. So think about the values of the company that you are applying to. What are Nike's values? What is FC Seoul's values? What are their attitudes? What are their goals for the future and their projects? Okay. Explain again how you're going to help the organization, how their organization is going to benefit from choosing you. How is the organization going to benefit from choosing you? elaborate on the information in your resume. So you're going to tell more about the information in your resume. What's elaborate in Korean? Well, it means to tell more information, right? 정교한, to tell more about the things that we've already learned from your resume. Provide evidence of your qualifications, right? Tell exactly what you did and what your skills are. And proofread your grammar and typing mistakes. There should not be any spelling mistakes or grammar mistakes. If there are, it's a big, big problem. Nowadays, we have a Hangul program, Microsoft Word, many online programs. So if there's a mistake in your writing, it means you didn't focus on your cover letter. And if you didn't focus on your cover letter, that means you will not focus on this job. You don't care. Resume goes to Saregiton. Your boss will think. So find the mistakes. Mistakes are bad. Even one mistake is not good, right? Even one mistake is not good. Maybe you're not amazing in English, but with online program, with Microsoft Word, you can find every mistake and fix it. So even if you're not good at English, you're going to be able to find those mistakes. Okay, so that's what I want you guys to do. Please, if you have finished your resume, you can start to work on that. Now we're going to talk a little bit about jobs conversation. What kind of jobs have you guys had before? Some of the students in sports business, I know you guys have you guys are already breaking into the sports market in the area, right? Some of my students working for local sports teams, some students working for the gym, some students are working some other fitness programs at the university or in other places. What are the jobs that you've worked? So we're going to have some conversation about jobs. Maybe we have time. We're going to do it a little bit in your Zoom class as well. So come prepared. Talk about jobs. Now in English, we call what you guys say Arbeit. Arbeit is actually the German word for work. So job in English, we say part-time job. We would call them all jobs. Whether you're working at Samsung or you're working in Pyeongchum, it's still called a job. We don't really differentiate between those two things. It's just a way to make money. If we're being more serious about your life job, we might call it your career. I think you guys know this word, your career. And that's a little bit different from job, whereas job can be a little bit of a negative connotation, a negative meaning sometimes. Career is usually a good connotation. It's a good meaning. Okay. And you can see those people there, they look very nervous in that photo, right? Why? Well, it looks like they are waiting, right? They're waiting for a job interview to answer and ask questions, which I think is what you guys are going to be doing for your final presentation to me is going to be a job interview. And here we can see, of course, a kind of a basic sort of job interview. You're going to set up with like a kind of panel of people. They're kind of friendly people there, right? They've probably got as you can see there, they probably already have your resume is over here, right? They've got it, they're looking at it, and they're going to ask you, they're going to be asking you some questions, right? So this, of course, is your job interview. Interview, of course, can be used as a noun or a verb. They're interviewing you, or I'm at my job interview as well. We talked about this before. Your CV or your resume, we've already discussed that, but just to kind of review there, your employment history and the highlights of your employment history. You want to include all of that information. And what's this? These are formal clothes, right? Formal clothes, not casual clothes. Differences between do's and don'ts. You can do these things on the left. Don't do that at the top, right? Don't have messy hair. Don't have your shirt untucked. Ladies have a bit of freedom, right? They don't necessarily have to wear a suit, but you want to wear formal clothes to your interview, okay? So when we actually do the job interview, I'm hoping that you guys are going to dress formally. Is that too much to ask? Well, I would like you guys to be able to do it when we have our job interview on the final week, but I'm not sure.